Imagine waking up, disoriented on a desolate island. A shipwrecked survivor, our protagonist is about to unearth a terrifying reality. He awakens to a world of saltwater air and the relentless sun, a stark contrast to the comfort of his ship. He's alone, or so it seems, stranded on this patch of sand and foliage that stretches out to the horizon. The taste of fear is bitter on his tongue, but it's quickly replaced by the determination to survive. With the sun high in the sky, he sets to work. He pulls together driftwood and palm fronds to craft a makeshift shelter, a place of refuge against the elements. His hands are raw and blistered, but the sight of a completed shelter brings him a moment of triumph, a glimmer of hope in this desolate place. But as he begins to explore this island, his temporary home, he can't shake off the feeling of unease. It's subtle at first, the rustle of leaves when there's no wind, the distant echo of a sound he can't quite place. Then items he's collected, a shell here, a piece of driftwood there, seem to move when he turns his back. He tells himself it's the result of his isolation, a mind playing tricks on its owner. Yet, as the day wears on, the oddities become harder to dismiss. There's a pattern to the noises, a rhythm that speaks of something deliberate. The objects he's observed moving are not just shifting, but appear to be arranged, manipulated. A chill trickles down his spine, and he realizes that the island might not be as deserted as he initially thought. As the sun sets, an eerie silence falls over the island. Our man shrugs off the day's oddities and prepares for a night of uneasy rest. Unaware that the real terror is yet to reveal itself, he retreats into his shelter, the darkness of the island whispering ominous secrets into the night. As the moon ascends, the island awakens. The protagonist is about to discover he's not alone. Under the cloak of darkness, the island takes on a life of its own. The rustling of leaves and the echo of the ocean waves are the only sounds accompanying the man's solitude. But tonight, a new, unfamiliar sound breaks the silence. It's a soft, eerie murmur, like a whisper carried by the wind. It's not a sound he can identify, not a sound a man should hear when he believes himself to be alone. He steps out from the makeshift shelter, his eyes straining against the darkness. He's greeted by the cold touch of the night air and the haunting serenade of the unknown. His heart is a drum, matching the rhythm of his mounting fear. He follows the sound, his bare feet sinking into the cool sand. The moonlight illuminates his path, and there, in the sand, he sees them. Footprints. Not his own, but those of another. They're not human, at least not entirely. They're large, grotesque, a grim testament to an unwelcome presence. His breath catches in his throat. He's not alone. The footprints lead into the forest, disappearing into the shadows. He's imagined many scenarios since he washed up on this island, but never this. Never the chilling thought of sharing this isolated piece of land with an unknown entity. His mind races, his pulse quickens. Every sound, every movement takes on a sinister undertone. He's a stranger in this land, and he's not alone. Fear grips him, wrapping around his heart, squeezing the courage from his soul. His sanctuary has turned into a nightmare, his paradise into a prison. His heart pounds in his chest as he gazes at the footprints, a chilling question echoing in his mind. Who or what shares this island with him? With the dawn comes a horrifying reality. The protagonist is being hunted. A chill runs down his spine as he paces the perimeter of his makeshift shelter. The night had not been kind, leaving behind a scene of chaos. His food supplies are gone, a clear sign of an unwelcome visitor. But this is no ordinary thief. The tracks are too large, the damage too extensive. Something is sharing this island with him, something he'd rather not meet. As the sun climbs higher, he catches fleeting glimpses of a shadowy figure in the forest, a creature that moves with stealth and purpose, always just out of sight. His heart pounds in his chest, adrenaline coursing through his veins. The realization is a shock to the system. He is not the hunter, but the prey. The rest of the day is spent on high alert, every rustle in the trees setting his nerves on edge. He is a man on a mission, his survival instincts kicking into high gear. He must escape this island. But how? His mind races, formulating plans, discarding the impractical, honing the feasible. He must be clever, he must be swift. He devises a trap, using what little resources he has. A deep pit, camouflaged with foliage, a sharp stake at the bottom. It's crude, but it might just buy him enough time. Time to craft a raft, time to set sail, time to put as much distance between himself and this creature as possible. But as he works, a creeping dread envelops him. The feeling of being watched, the sense of eyes tracking his every move. The island, once a sanctuary, a haven from the world, has transformed into something far more sinister. It's a death trap, a game of cat and mouse where he is the mouse and the cat is not playing fair. As he lays his trap, he can't shake off the feeling of being watched. The island, once a sanctuary, is now a death trap. In the heart-stopping conclusion, the protagonist makes a desperate bid for freedom. The time has come, the final hour in this living nightmare. Our hero, driven by sheer will and determination, sets his trap for the nightmarish creature that has been haunting his every step. With a mind as sharp as the shards of his shattered reality, he crafts a cunning plan, using the island's resources to his advantage. Simultaneously, he turns his attention to his last hope, his salvation, a makeshift raft. Every knot tied, every plank secured is a plea to the universe, a beacon of his yearning for deliverance from this forsaken place. The raft, a symbol of his desperation and hope, is his ticket back to civilization, away from the clutches of the abhorrent island creature. With the trap set and the raft ready, he pushes off into the relentless ocean, the cool water lapping against his anxious frame. But as he does, the creature emerges from the shadows, a grotesque silhouette against the island's eerie backdrop. The trap is triggered, a symphony of chaos and hope ringing through the otherwise silent night. He rows away with a vigor he didn't know he possessed. Every stroke is a stride towards freedom, a refusal to succumb to the terror of the island. Behind him, the creature's roars echo, a chilling reminder of the horror he's leaving behind. They are cries of anger, of frustration, but to him, they are the sweetest melodies of victory, of survival. The island, once a paradise turned nightmare, shrinks into the distance, swallowed by the vast expanse of the ocean. His heart pounds in his chest, not from fear, but from the exhilaration of escape, of surviving the unspeakable. As the island fades into the distance, the protagonist breathes a sigh of relief. He's escaped the island, but the nightmares will follow him forever. The island may be behind him, but the memories, the terror, they are etched into his soul, a haunting reminder of his desperate escape.